Hello.
Then, now,
Countdown to the queens.
Episode number 500.
forever.
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello and welcome to, I believe it's episode 164 of the TEW9 Challenge Run. We're here for Old School Raw. It is June the 9th, 2025. We're here in the Manhattan Center. And yeah, we have a couple of matches set for tonight, including a steel cage main event. Obviously, the classic blue steel cage is in town. Cody Rhodes and Jay White put an end to their thing in tonight's main event. You also have a women's championship match, which will kick off the night. Bianca Belair defends against Charlotte Flair. We have a tag team championship triple threat match. Fraxium defend against both Path of the Dragon and Dudley Davis and Pete Dunne. We have Gunther versus Roderick Strong. We have... I don't think I announced anything else. So, yeah. Oh, Rey Mysterio against Lexus King. Sorry. Yeah. And also, John Cena is here because it's Old School Raw. We're going to see legends throughout the night. You know, they're not all going to be... in fact, I don't think hardly any of them, apart from one exception, are going to be building to future matches. But, you know, it's Old School Raw. You got to have legends out there with current wrestlers. So we got legends in the house tonight for Old School Raw. So without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. We kick off the night. You know, we get the old Raw intro going off. And we have Jem Ross and Jesse Ventura, you know, standing ringside, you know, serving as, I guess, the hosts of the show. They'll be the commentary team throughout the night. And, you know, they give the rundown I just gave, you know, but in a Jem Ross and Jesse Ventura style way. And then, you know, just letting us all, welcoming us to the Manhattan Center here for Old School Raw. When the first person that comes out, the first theme we hear is of John Cena. John Cena comes out. You know, obviously, crowd cheering him on here in the Manhattan Center. He goes, New York City! Boy, does it feel good to be here tonight. So tonight is a great night because ever since January 6th, the Raw Netflix premiere, the start of my retirement tour, this entire thing has been about giving back. And right now, we're giving back to you. We didn't need to run this arena. You know, in fact, as a matter of fact, in 2025, it's probably financially irresponsible for us to do that. But we did it because we wanted to bring the atmosphere and the electricity of Monday Night Raw back to this arena. And when it was announced that we'd be doing Old School Raw here in the Manhattan Center, I knew I had to use up one of my dates to come be here and talk to y'all. So, Monday Night Raw, Old School Raw. We are just days away now from Bad Blood. A show that I won't be a part of. It'll be a premium live event that is not a part of the John Cena retirement tour. However, the following week will be a match, a part of a John Cena retirement tour. It is the dream match against another retiring legend of wrestling, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now, of course, a bunch of you out there who are WWE, you haven't seen anything else, may not have been familiar with the work of Tana-san. But fear not. Because as I came out here tonight, Bobby Roode got in contact with me, and Tanahashi will be live on Monday Night Raw in 2 weeks' time. And he'll go face to face with John Cena in a moment that nobody ever thought they would see. Two of the all-time greats, our careers winding down at the exact same time we thought we were going to pass like ships in the night. Obviously, him being over there, me being over here, it seemed like it was never going to work. But on June 28th, worlds will collide. And on that night, we will find out whether I get to keep my claim as the greatest of all time, or if another one of the greatest of all time can come to my house and take that spot. But after that, after the dream match we never thought we'd see is out of the way, we then move on to Money in the Bank. A match that I told Bobby Roode in no uncertain terms I want to be in. A match that, quite frankly, over the years, has been a love-hate relationship of mine. Who could ever forget 2006, the first ever Money in the Bank cash-in? I knew then and learned then what that briefcase is capable of. And, quite frankly, at this point of my retirement tour, I'm starting to worry that I need it. Because you see, this retirement tour is supposed to be about giving back to you and also paving the way for the future and also creating the best year possible. Which is why we get matches like John Cena against Tanahashi, which is why we get John Cena finally becoming Intercontinental Champion, hosting the Open Challenge at WrestleMania, wrestling Okada. But I know, more than anything else, what you want. You want to see John Cena for one final time as WWE Champion. And I've been avoiding making that promise, because quite frankly I'm worried I'm not going to be able to live up to it. These past few years around here for me have not exactly been great, hence the retirement tour, once I realized that this future generation is too much for me to keep up with and I need to step aside and let these people shine. I had another shot last year to become the 17-time world champion against an old rival of mine, Swerve. And I failed. But I make a promise, I make a vow, I will not let 2025 end without John Cena once again being WWE Champion. Not for me, I couldn't give a damn what the history books say about me. I know everybody's made up their minds already. You either love me or you hate me. But for all these people, 23 years I've been here on this main roster, for all the people in my toughest times, at my highest of highs, at my lowest of lows, all of you that have been there for me, you chanted, "Let's go Cena," the arena chanted, "Cena sucks." They chanted, "You can't wrestle," you chanted, "Yes he can." All of it. It is for you people that I muster up the strength to keep going. It is for you people that I make the impossible possible. And it is for you people that I promise you I make a vow here tonight. When I go to Money in the Bank, I'm going to win Money in the Bank. I'm going to avenge 13 years ago when I won that briefcase and I cashed it in. I became the first ever person to fail. And I'm going to win my 17th World Championship. Break the record. And I'm going to do it not for me, but for all of you. And there's nothing that anybody can do that can stand in my way to stop that. So anybody back there who thinks they've got the guts to be the one to step up, whether it be old foes, new foes, hell, Tanahashi, anybody else back there, if you want some, then well, just drops the mic and walks out. So yeah, John Cena, he's here tonight, of course. He's got a Tanahashi match to sell, and he's got Money in the Bank to sell, because Money in the Bank is like 3 weeks after Bad Blood. Like, I think it goes Bad Blood on the 21st. Then the next Saturday is In Your House, Worlds Collide. Then there's a break, and then it's Money in the Bank. So, yeah, we sort of got to get started on building towards that show as well. $70? What the fuck happened here? Lack of psychology, okay, apparently. Penalised for a lack of psychology, very low experience on the commentary team, and poor comment. Oh, for fuck's sake, it's the fucking... I might have to go back in and edit this because I've got JR and Jesse on commentary instead of my actual commentators. And once you touch the commentators on this game, it fucking tanks your rating. I should have remembered. So I'll probably have to go in and edit that all, which is fucking cringe. But whatever. Guess this match is shit. Bianca beat Charlotte anyway. KOD in 17:22 to make defense number 3 of the Women's Championship. 96 for Bianca, 89 for Charlotte. But, you know, the old guys on commentary that are there for a nostalgia trip sort of maybe slipped up on a word or two, so therefore it goes from being a 95 to a 77. Awesome stuff. Yeah, we love that, and it makes a lot of sense. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I cheat and make my announcers, like, really high. Because that's just shit. Like, I can take some matches being, like, not as good or being disappointing, but, like, when it's not even the wrestler's fault, like, yeah, go fuck yourself. Anyway, after the match, now I've gone out and edited the fucking comment, like, pretend that, I guess, JR and Jesse are still on the comms, but, you know, I can't do that in the game, because fuck people trying to do something fun in the game, you know. Anyway, Charlotte gets to her feet after the match. Bianca's in the ring, obviously. She offers a handshake at the Charlotte. And Charlotte, she sort of looks frustrated. She does accept the handshake, obviously, because she's a good girl now. But you can see she has got frustration. But as she goes to leave, Tiffany Stratton jumps into the ring. She jumps Bianca from behind. She shoves her into Charlotte, and then obviously Bianca stumbles into Charlotte, knocks Charlotte to the floor. And Tiffany lays out Bianca Belair with the PME. She holds up the IC title. And, you know, she's also got, of course, a tag team championship match. She's got the IC title. And she's just laid out the women's champion. So, Quest for Gold, that belt collector run in Tiffany Stratton's future is going to go platinum, obviously. Then cut back. We see Shawn Michaels. You know, he's looking around the building backstage. You know, obviously, a building he's wrestled in, a building he's been a part of some memorable moments in the history of Monday Night Raw. He just looks around, takes it all in. He opens the door into the Nexus locker room. He goes, "Boys and girls, what a night. This arena, how could I ever forget it? Some of the greatest moments of my career took place in this building. Some of the worst moments of my career took place in this building. Tonight is the rightful start of a new legacy here in WWE. It began the night after WrestleMania, and it continues tonight. Now this building, when I leave here tonight, this building won't be synonymous with the Heartbreak Kid. It'll be synonymous with Bronson Steiner, with Roxy Perez, Cora Jade, Lyra Valkyria, Oba Femi, All Ego, Ethan Page, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams. All of you. Last week, you made a statement. Tonight, back it up." 75. Yeah, only 2 ratings worse than the women's title match, even though they both scored in the 60s because I changed the commentary team. Whoopee! Yes. Rey Mysterio does defeat Lexus King. 8 minutes and 10 with a 619 to the West Coast pop. 64 for Rey, 68 for Lexus King. And yeah, Rey Mysterio with a nice win here tonight over one of Christian's children. You know, not the children that he's sort of a co-parent of, or a child of divorce, I guess, but the other one. The one that, you know, I can just book to randomly wrestle him on Raw because I don't need to build it. But after the match, Rey's celebrating, Christian gets in the ring, he jumps Rey Mysterio, and Dominic comes out too. I think this is the first time I've seen Dom in a number of weeks. You know, normally it's just Christian and Lexus King, but Dominic is here tonight. He walks out and the crowd sort of like gives him a mixed reaction. And he gets into the ring and he looks at Rey on the floor smiling, and Christian goes, "Here you are, Dom. Take care of your business." And Christian sort of like just throws him onto the rope. He gets him in position for a 619. And Dominic smiles as he looks around the crowd, and the crowd's like, no, Dominic, don't do it, that's your daddy. But of course, Dominic smiles back, he gives the little Eddie Guerrero shimmy, he hits the 619 on his deadbeat dad, and Rey is taken out. And the patriarchy, they stand tall in the ring as doctors come and check on Rey. I don't know why doctors are coming out for a 1619, but they are. Rey Mysterio's an old man, so... yeah, Dominic Mysterio, he had the chance to rebel here tonight. He chose against it. But then we go to ads. And after ads, we cut back and Christian still... I imagine, he's in the ring with a mic, with the implication being that he's been ranting, throughout the entire commercial break. Just about bullshit, about how great he is and stuff. And he goes, and what you just saw was the greatest Mysterio of all time making his choice. You can all boo, you can all say no, you can all be disgusted at Dirty Dom. But what he just did was plant his flag. He knows who his true daddy is. And it's not Rey Mysterio. It never was Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio only gets to claim this kid because he won a ladder match for the right to 20 years ago. No, Dirty Dom knows where he's best. He knows where he's best, and that's being under the lineage of the greatest professional wrestler in WWE history, the greatest Canadian export, better than all of your favorites, me. Because not only am I a better wrestler than all your favorites, I'm a better father than them too. And as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, tonight Christian, I don't know why I'm giving myself the benefit of speaking to the people of Manhattan Center, or you dirty, disgusting losers who paid so much money to come and sit in an arena half the size that we usually run, just because you want to make yourself feel like you're still a child at heart again. Okay? Even if you were a child at heart, you guys suck so much, I wouldn't even adopt you. Because I only adopt winners. Because Christian Cage is a winner, not like the rest of these losers back here from my generation who are going back here and killing their legacy. Guys like Rey Mysterio, my old retired washed up partner Edge, can't even do it anymore because I've proven I was always the better one. Chris Jericho comes out. The countdown hits. Break the Walls Down hits. Jericho comes out. It's been a while since I've seen him on Raw. He got drafted over to Raw as the learning tree. He's not been here for a bit. But he's here on Old School Raw tonight. And he goes, Ahem. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Raw is Jericho. Christian, I can't help but notice your little rant you've been on just now. Okay? Calling yourself the best wrestler to ever do it in WWE, the best of your generation. Would you please shut the hell up? Okay, listen here. I don't know what Dummy Dom and Lexus, don't call me Brian Pillman Jr. King, have to say. They're only under your mind spell because you think that you're special. You think that you are the greatest to do it, as you just said to these people so loud and proud. But what I know is that you're using Dominic, you're using Lexus for your own gain, and I know I did it. I'm the same guy who months ago came back here to WWE and said, I'm all about giving back to the youth. I'm all about helping to elevate the next generation of WWE superstars. And then as I kept failing and people kept walking away from my learning tree, I realized I don't know how much longer Chris Jericho's got. I don't need to be here to elevate the future. I need to be here to remind the world who the hell I am. So, Christian, this is a wake-up call to you, to Dominic, to Lexus, and to everybody back there. Guys like Christian who want to come at you and they want to leech onto you. They want to suck the life out of you. They're like a wrestling vampire. Because Christian wants to keep his career going for as long as well, Chris Jericho. But he realized his time may be running out, so he latches on to Dominic Mysterio, because Edge retiring was a sign of his own mortality. So he latched on to Lexus King, all these greats, generational wrestlers of previous eras. The same era of which Christian is from. But as somebody who did some reflection, Christian, I know who you are. You're not Christian. You're Chris Jericho. Except you're the Chris Jericho of 2024. I'm the Chris Jericho, not of 2025. I'm the Jericho of 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002, you name it, because I'm still in my prime. And Christian, sooner rather than later, what you have to accept is that these kids, they don't know better. And when they finally do wake up, and you're all alone, I sure hope to God you've got a good emotional support system, because it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. Just like it did to me. But now, the beast has been awoken. The Ayatollah has been awakened. This is Chris Jericho's last hurrah. I don't know how long it's going to last, but one thing is for sure. It's going to be the best damn time of my life. The Jericho back, old school Raw, felt like the right time to bring him back. You know, we're sort of phasing older guys out, you know, in the spirit of the John Cena stuff and the AJ stuff IRL and, you know, anything else. And and obviously the IRL rumored Jericho stuff, of course, you know. It's time to start getting the best out of these old guys, and, you know, Jericho is the learning tree. Funny little thing to bring him back, but old school Raw, Y2J, give Jericho, you know, a bit of a last run, I guess. And yeah, he's taking issues with Christian, you know, leeching off. If anyone knows anything about leeching off young talent, I'll give him that. If anyone knows anything about that, it is Chris Jericho, so yeah. We then get a training video. LA Knight is like in a gym at his home. You know, he's like doing weights, like doing exercises and stuff. And he stops and he looks at the camera and he goes, "Is this what you want, Chad, huh? This is what you want, huh? This is what you do, right? You're always back here in your gym. You're clanging, you're banging, you're trying to make yourself look like a superstar. You're trying to put in the effort and the grit to be the world champion. This is what you say I don't have, yeah? Even though I've been doing this for 25 years. You're saying I don't have the determination and the desire to be world champion like you do. Why? Because I've got the gift of the gab too? Nah. I'll make one thing perfectly clear, Gable. You are the world champion right now, but for how damn long? I'll tell you how damn long, only 2 more weeks. Because of bad blood. LA Knight, I've always been on top of my A game. I've always been undeniable. But now, Chad Gable, you done pissed me off. You disrespected me. You say I don't have it. You'll say that you're a better athlete than I am. And sure, you may have been in the Olympics. That may be true. But while you were doing all that, I was fighting and scratching my way to the top. I didn't just get handed this position like many people think I did. So, Chad, this is your element, huh? This is how you train for your big match day. Good. Because I can do that too. And what I can also do is get this gift of the gab, come out there on that microphone and tear you to pieces. And what I'm also going to do is complete the trifecta at Bad Blood. I get into the ring with you, you little shorty G looking ass. I punch your big ass brain in the ground with a BFT. You know, the bigger the brain, I hear the more susceptible you may be to concussions. But one thing is for sure, that brain ain't going to be working properly after bad blood, because I'm going to give you some reality check. And that reality check is a blunt force trauma. 1, 2, 3. And as you're looking up at the light, you'll be thinking, where did it all go wrong? I'll tell you where it all went wrong. It all went wrong when you disrespected L.A. Knight. Yeah. Obafemi, he comes to the ring for another promo. And he goes, last week, I came to this ring and I saw pretenders that want to step to my throne. Step up to me. Bronson Reed, Duke Hudson, Angelo Dawkins, Damian Priest. All of you in your own right are very intimidating individuals. But let's make one thing perfectly clear. This is not your yard now. It is mine. Monday Night Raw, ever since I got here, has been the ruler's yard. And I don't care which of you it is that thinks you're next up. I don't give a damn. Send the flood. And Obafemi will be the dam that stops the flood. Because none of you can get past me. None of you will take this championship from me. And none of you are man enough to step to me.
Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling.
Out comes The Undertaker. American Badass. You know, he doesn't wear the Dead Man stuff anymore, even though I would have kind of liked... I mean, I would have liked to have done the Dead Man entrance, because, you know, it's the Manhattan Center, and, you know, Undertaker wrestled with that gimmick in this building. But he's doing a promo segment, so that also probably wouldn't have made sense, so it's fine. So, yeah, out comes the American Badass. The one change to him IRL is he doesn't use he uses literally any other American Badass Undertaker theme than Kid Rock American Badass, because that's the worst one. Whether it be roll, if you want to pay for rolling, he uses rolling. If not, you can use you're going to pay. Either or is fine. But he comes out, and you know the crowd's going crazy because it's the Undertaker. He goes face to face with Obafemi. It's a tense stare down. He goes, "Kid, I like the cut of your jib. You keep working hard at your craft. There's no doubt about that you will be a future legend here in WWE, a former multi-time world champion. But I need to come to the ring and remind you of one thing. You may be dominant, but this ain't your yard, boy. This will always be my yard. Oba, the ruler. You seem to be fighting obstacles from all angles right now. 4 other men want what you've got. And you say you're not gonna let them take it. That's fine. I actually believe you. I actually believe you, Oba, that either one of those men, you go in there, you can tear them apart, and you can keep that championship. And I know that you believe yourself. But if you want to be the ruler here, you want to make this your kingdom, you want to make this your yard, as the gatekeeper, do you want to know how I would deal with something like this? 4 men want my championship. I say, bring them all on. Bring all 4 of them on, and I'll stack all 4 of them up, and I'll snatch them all, and stand tall still champion, Oba. That is what a ruler would do. That is what the keeper of the yard would do. What will you do? And then as Taker goes to leave, Oba like grabs the Undertaker on his shoulder, like sort of stops it, like he did to Cody in real life. And it sort of gets, oh, pop. And he goes, you don't get to walk away from me. I don't care how long you ran this place. 20 years, 30 years, it doesn't matter, because there is a new captain in town now. You think you can come and intimidate me the way you intimidated all the other people during your days? I understand what you want from me. So next week, all of you, come and get it. 5 unstoppable beasts. 1 United States champion. 1 ruler of the yard. And as I said, and as the Undertaker can attest, the ruler of that yard will always be me, because I am inevitable, and this is just the beginning of my ascension here in WWE. So Bronson Reed, you want to get embarrassed once again, and you want to bring your friend Duke Hudson with you. Angelo, you're so desperate to regain single success that you want to step to me? And Priest, oh Priest, you think you and your friends can stop me and the entire Nexus? Well, let next week be a dose of reality when every single one of you is bowing at the feet of the new Phenom. Slams the mic down and walks out. Like, we sort of get the shot of Taker, he sort of like just smiles as Oba goes off on the mic. He's like, yeah, like this is this fucking guy. Yeah, just an Undertaker rub. He's giving the rub to Oba here. Obviously, they're not going to ever wrestle because Undertaker is retired. And there's no Saudi WrestleMania coming up in my world, so there's no big payday that will, lure him out of retirement. So he's just here to, sort of say to Oba, you want to run this fucking yard, my yard. Bitch, prove it. And Oba accepts the challenge. Meat Madness. Meat Mountain, I believe I'm calling it. Next week on Monday Night Raw. United States Championship. And they get an interview segment. Kathy Kelly's with Lyra, another Nexus member. She says, Lyra, with Bad Blood coming up and, Cora Jade and Roxy Perez looking to retain their women's tag team championship against 3 teams, one of which including the WWE Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, it's safe to say that, so far, so good on that front, right? Who goes, Kathy? Cora and Roxy's job at Bad Blood is to make sure they keep those championships. They're the longest reigning women's tag team champions in WWE history. And that's not going to change after Bad Blood, no matter win, lose, or draw, but they're going to win and they're going to keep that reign going. And as for Bianca, Bianca, our WWE Women's Champion, she was there the second week when I made it clear what the statement was to take over the women's division. You see, the guys are already in the process of taking over the women's division, but you see, there's only 3 of us, and there's 4 championships, Kathy, which is why it's so important for us to have our 4th member of the group. And that's something that I need to get sorted out, Kathy. Because it's up to me. Not Cora or Roxy, me. To make sure this group is as strong as it can be. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a conversation to have. 46 rated match. Jade and Jada in tag team action. Just a quick squash match against Carly Bright and Brindley Reese. Jade pinning Brindley in 3 minutes and 30 seconds with the Jaded. 55 for Jada, 82 for Jade, 37 for Brindley Reese, 19 for Carly Bright. After the match, Malcolm Bivens takes the microphone and he goes, well, another dominant display from that bitch, Jade Cargill, and Miss Parker herself. Now, Chelsea Green, is that how you say it, right? Chelsea Green? Learn her lesson the hard way, what happens when you step to us. Because there's never been a woman in WWE so strong, so powerful as this bitch right here, Jade Cargill. I am assembling what many are calling the greatest alliance in women's wrestling history. Any rivalries in the past, any alliances of yesteryear pale in comparison to the aura and just the damn right perfection that is Jade Cargill and Miss Parker. That's when Chelsea Green interrupts. He goes, wow, Malcolm Bivens, you sure don't have to run your mouth and speak in hyperbolics. But it's fine, because sure, last week I came up short against Jade. Like, look at Jade and look at me, obviously, duh. But I'm not the only one who's taken offense to some things you just said. You want to call Jade and Jada Parker the greatest alliance in women's wrestling history? Bitch, you aren't even the greatest alliance of the Divas era. Back when it goes, you want to come out here chatting Divas era, huh? Okay? I know, I've dealt with some of those Diva fans in my days. You're a crazy bunch, I don't really want to fight you all. But you're crazy. You're deluded. Which I was like, is that so? Then we get the generic 2010s women's wrestling theme hits, and a bunch of divas, including the Bellas, Lay Cool, Natalia and Beth, Eve and Kelly. Melina's here for reasons, because I wanted to put her on the show, but she's like not really going to be factored into anything because she doesn't have a memorable female tag team partner. But Chelsea Green has assembled the Divas Avengers, certain subsection of Twitter, finally going crazy, finally saying that I ate and served and all of this, and that my previous chop booking is, I guess, still not forgiven because that's not what they do. But Chelsea Green, we're not going to let her bring the Divas belt back or do actual Diva shit, but this is a fun segment. She brings a bunch of the old Divas out, and the concept of Natalia being like, because she's been gone for like 5 years in the save, the concept of her being a Divas legend and not like an active wrestler is fun as well. So, absence makes the heart go fonder, so I'm sure my fans are kind of happy to see Natty. And Jade and Chelsea, they sort of do see, or Jade and Jada even, sort of do see the numbers, and they do bail as the Divas Avengers get into the ring and beat the fuck out of Malcolm Bivens. Jade and Jada want to sort of get in, and they sort of just leave, because at the end of the day, I don't know if they like, well, they tolerate Bivens. I don't know if they like him. I don't know if they care too much that he's getting attacked. He's sort of just, good business for them. But yes, this serves and eats and chews and all of those vernacular here tonight as our favourite divas have put the boots to Malcolm Bivens. Then get Adam Cole backstage. Adam Cole goes, Gunther, let's get one thing perfectly clear. I'm not the reason that you're not the number one contender for the WWE Championship. Hell, maybe you'd even be standing here WWE Champion still right now if you didn't lose that championship in about 2 weeks when you last held it. But you can go through Kyle, you can go through Bobby, you can go through Roddy tonight. But that didn't change the fact that Adam Cole Bay runs this place. He's not scared of the ring general. When I came to Monday Night Raw in the Superstar shakeup, or the transfer window, It was guys like you I knew were waiting here for me. It was going to be a real test. And Kyle and Roddy and Bobby, they've already been put to the test. And then Ludwig Kaiser walks in. He goes, well, I knew I heard annoying noises in my ear, and I think I finally found the culprit, Adam Corbin, running his mouth on the ring general, Gunther. And Cole goes, no, it's funny, Ludwig, you know. Over the past couple of weeks, Gunther's been wrestling my guys, you know, Kyle, Bobby, Roddy, again, tonight. But yet you stand on the sidelines and you wear your stupid sweaters and you hype up Gunther like the good hype man you are, but I don't see you stepping into the ring to try and fight these battles. Because I don't need to fight battles on behalf of the Ring General, because the Ring General has business with you idiots taken care of. God goes, right, okay. Well, so what you're saying is that I shouldn't go to Bobby Roode. What you're saying is that ahead of wrestling Gunther, who you will admit is, you know, the biggest challenge of my career, I obviously need to warm myself up for that, prepare for that match, right? And I can't think of a better opponent than you. See you next week, buddy. So yeah, Adam Cole, Ludwig Kaiser, next week on Raw. But before then, we have Gunther and Roddy. 82. Roddy's obviously declining a little bit, because I expected better from that. I put this as a brawl, because they're both good at brawling, because it would also be it would fucking rock as a brawl in real life. Gunther wins, of course. He goes 3-0 over the UE boys. 97 for Gunther, 72 for Roderick Strong. And yeah, Gunther takes care of Roddy here tonight. Then see Liv and Blizzard. You know, they're just chatting backstage when we see Alundra Blaze walks past. She steps into frame, she pauses, she gets the Disney Channel celebrity cameo cheers from the crowd. And, you know, obviously we've got Thea. They're like, oh my god, it's Alundra Blaze, Alundra Blaze. She goes, hey girls, I thought, you know, old school Raw, just thought I'd step by, you know, see a lot of my old faces around here, and wanted to check in on how the women's division was going on. And he goes, it's great, okay? I know Liv and Alexa aren't wearing them right now, but we all have matching t-shirts. You know, we're Liv and Blizzard. We're the new hottest group here on Monday Night Raw. And we are taking over, Alundra. Like, it's because of women like you that paved the way for us to be able to do the things we do here on Monday Night Raw. All three of us together, because that's what we do. We're a unit, okay? And she sort of like looks over at Liv and Alexa. They sort of just shrug. And she goes, yeah, good talking to you, Thea. You know, got a great career ahead of you. It's just, you know, maybe take it easy a little bit. And she walks off, and then she goes, what's that supposed to mean? And she turns back to Liv and Alexa, who sort of just stare at her, and she's like, what's that supposed to mean? And they just sort of awkwardly walk off. Red cut to the ring. When, like, we leave that, we get a panoramic shot of the crowd of the Manhattan Center. And then Kurt Angle's music hits to a big pop. He comes out. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, old school Raw, what's up? Now over the years, Monday Night Raw, been a great home of mine. Whether as a wrestler or a GM, you name it. I've created some great memories on this show, and when Old School Raw was happening, they invited legends. I thought your Olympic hero had to make an appearance. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, there's a man back there that I feel like I need to call out. A man back there I feel I need to have a conversation with. A man back there who I think needs a hard dose of reality, which is weird, because this guy is the WWE champion, Chad Gable. Gable comes out, and you know he sort of like looks irritated. He goes, "What is it, Kurt? How many times have we got to do this? Okay, In fact, I changed my mind. I'm actually glad to have this conversation with you this time, Kurt. Do you want to know why? Because, Kurt, I'm the WWE Champion. I won the WWE Championship in the main event of WrestleMania. I main evented WrestleMania. You know what that means? Kurt, that means I can finally shake this label of being Teemu Kurt Angle. A label that I never wanted. A label that I was bestowed upon so graciously by fans who definitely had my best interests at heart and weren't setting me up to fail. No, sir. But it's fine. Because that made me more determined, Kurt. And to see you here, hobble into the ring, stuttering over your words, failing to say anything of importance, thinking you can come out here and coach the WWE Champion, save it. Because I don't need to listen to you anymore. I'm the WWE Champion. It's 2025. People in this arena pay big money to see Chad Gable, because Chad Gable's name is on the marquee, because did I mention, Kurt? I'm the WWE Champion. So what you can do is you can hobble your broken ass out of my ring, back to that retirement home they've got back there, and you can think before you even consider thinking that you've got anything you can give to Chad Gable anymore. Bye-bye, Kurt. Bye, get out of my ring. Oh, sorry. I should be more disrespectful considering the way that you never cared when these people would reign Kurt Angle and say, you like Kurt Angle. You should be Kurt Angle's son. Yada, yada, yada. Let's hear it for Proto Gable. And Kurt, he sees he's getting a little bit annoyed. And he goes, Proto Gable, the failed prototype. Because this is what a real champion looks like. This is what a WrestleMania main eventer looks like. And whether it's you, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, LA Knight, you name them. It's a harsh reality that all these people have to accept, because I think I finally also did know the difference, Kurt, is that you're dumb as shit. That's why you couldn't make it to the main event of WrestleMania like I could. So why don't you hobble on out of my ring right now? And Kurt, he looks like he's going to get annoyed. You can see inside the cogs are turning in his brain. Like he wants to turn around and suplex Chad Gable, but obviously he knows he can't do it anymore. He's too washed up. He's retired. He goes, Chad, you're right. I am broken up. I am beaten up. If this was 10, 15, hell, even 2 or 3 years ago, I'd drop your ass where you stand for the way you're talking about me. Where it is 2025, I'm retired. I'm a family man. So I don't think I got that in me anymore. And Chad just laughs at him and goes, then what are you still doing here, huh? He goes, but thankfully, Chad, I know there's someone back there who can. LA Knight, his music hits. He storms to the ring with a chair in hand. Gable's eyes widen. He immediately ducks out of the ring as LA Knight comes in. He swings the chair. And Gable ducks. He scurries through the crowd. And LA Knight, he's in the ring. He shares a milk with Kurt Angle as Chad Gable runs away after abusing an old man. Verbally, obviously, not physically. Then see Bayley backstage. She's just in her casual clothes, just sitting in some hallway. When we see Lyra just sort of come up and she scoots up next to her. And Bayley goes, what do you want? She goes, I just want to chat. Cora and Roxy, you know, they're not here. They left them in the locker room. Just want to chat, you and I. But he goes, what? He goes, look, I know that you probably have people in your ears talking about me and us and this Nexus vision. Obviously, you've still got your hesitations because of Cora and Roxy and the history between you and what we did to AJ. But you've got to understand, what we did to AJ was a mercy killing. What we did to AJ was, we were kind on AJ because she needed to be taken care of. Because, Bayley, you lost at WrestleMania because of her. At WrestleMania, and you took that fall to Cora, that ignited something in Cora and Roxy. The only person with nothing to gain from that match was AJ, so we dealt with it. But we dealt with her because of you. Sure, things between you and Cora and Roxy have been rough, but you're their hero. They take you back with open arms. I just know it. But what I will say, Bayley, is that we need you. The fact that I'm coming to see you and talk to you about this means we need you. 'Cause I could have done this with Becky, but I dropped her like a bad habit too. So I know where I'm coming from. But you're so giving. Out of all of that generation of women, the horsewomen, all of them, you are always the most giving because you genuinely, passionately care about this business and the future of this business, and not just yourself and being champion or surrounding yourselves with young talent to abuse them and, you know, take the tag team championships with them and don't even put their reign on the championship history books. But I digress. You're out there day in and day out putting in the work to make this place better, and that's what we can respect about you. So you're going to hear people in your ear from Bianca, Charlotte, to even down to Billy and Kelly about why you shouldn't trust me. But I only did what I did to make things right around here. To really sell this women's division, to take it to new heights. Because women's division needs to be taken to new heights, Bayley. You know that, I know that. It couldn't be taken to new heights with people like AJ clinging on to former glory. It couldn't be taken to new heights with selfish egomaniacs like Becky Lynch running around here trying to take over for themselves and get all the spotlight on them and take it away from younger talent like me. But you're not like that. You care about this industry. You care about the future. That's just all I wanted to say. It's not from a place of malice. It's from a place of respect. And when the time comes, when the offer comes, I know you'll make the right choice. So just pats her on the head and leaves. And Bayley sort of just watches Lyra as she leaves. 83. Tozawa's been fucking injured again. Cringe. Thankfully they weren't winning, but that is rather annoying, you know, that's my ace tag team. But yeah, Fragium do retain. The game says it's elimination, it's not. Nathan Fraser pins Dudley to retain the championships. I guess we go home after Tozawa does his shoulder in. But yeah, Fraxium do retain the World Tag Team Championships. 95 for Axiom, 85 for Nathan Fraser, 83 for Dudley, 88 for Pete, 79 for Humberto, 77 for Tozawa. And he suffered a major dislocated shoulder. I don't know, that's probably months. We probably won't see Tozawa for a while. So Humberto, I guess, is getting another little singles run or teaming with Zergis again. Back like the good old days, you know, when they had their year-long title reign, nearly, and Tozawa got fucking brain tumor during it. But yes, Fraxium do retain, they celebrate, they turn around. I know, Kurt, thank you. Trick shot to Nathan Fraser. The code breaker, I can't remember what he calls it. The Carmelo Hayes code breaker to Axiom. And Trick and Mello have laid out the World Tag Team Champions. Could we be looking at our next in line? You know, Shawn Michaels said, make a statement tonight for the Nexus boys. And Trick and Mello, they've made theirs, alright. Next week is the go-home show for Bad Blood on the Raw side. And we have a couple of matches set for the show. First, as we found out last week, or not last week, earlier on tonight even, the United States Championship will be on the line. Obafemi takes on not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 challengers for the championship. The Meat Mountain comes to Monday Night Raw next week. Obafemi defends the United States Championship against Angelo Dawkins, Bronson Reed, Duke Hudson, and Damian Priest. Plus, following his return earlier on tonight, Y2J Reborn, Chris Jericho versus Lexis King next week on Monday Night Raw. Plus, following the backstage segment between the two earlier on tonight, Ludwig Kaiser, I guess the sidekick of Gunther, will face Adam Cole in singles action next week after Gunther's been defeating the rest of the UE in singles action in recent weeks. And a special women's tag team match following the segment earlier on tonight where the Divas laid waste to Malcolm Bivens. He's vowed to take them all down, starting with Layla and Michelle McCool. Next week, Lay Cool reunited in tag team action here on Monday Night Raw, and they'll face off against Jade Cargill and Jada Parker. And moving on to Bad Blood, obviously following SmackDown, we did get confirmation on who the women's tag team champions are, so it is official. A 4-way for those championships takes place at Bad Blood, as the champions New Millennium, Cora Jade and Roxy Perez defend the championships against 3 alliances. The first being the WWE Women's Champion Bianca Belair teaming with Jakara Jackson. We're also going to have the Women's Intercontinental Champion Tiffany Stratton in that match teaming with Mariah May, as well as Charlotte Flair teaming with her protege Ariana Grace. 4 teams, 4 championship belts, 1 winner, 1 set of tag team champions. Who will it be? Bad Blood next Saturday in, I can't remember what arena it's in, but someplace. 94-rated main event. That's why it main evented. We bring an end to this saga. Cody Rhodes and Jay White. As Cody Rhodes does score the pin. Obviously, it's the blue steel cage. I think I said that in the opener. The blue steel cage, pin for submission, escape the cage rules. And Cody Rhodes does pin Jay White with the Crossroads to end the rivalry. 86 for Jay White, 92 for Cody Rhodes. And Cody stands tall, he climbs on top of the cage, he stands on top of the cage, he gives a whoa on top of the cage to end the night. But then, as Jay White leaves, he sort of crosses paths with Bronson Steiner. And as he does, he sort of just shrugs his shoulders and just lets Bronson Steiner into the cage. Because, he's done with this now. He doesn't give a fuck if Cody's dead. And Cody gets down from the cage, he turns around, and Bronson Steiner spears him. Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, Ethan Page, they also enter the cage. Obafemi makes his way out, but he's jumped by Damian Priest and Buddy Murphy. And they sort of brawl off with Oba. It takes 2 men to neutralize the ruler. But we then have Cody in the cage with Trick, Mello, Ethan Page, and Braun Breaker, and they're mauling Cody. They've been trying for weeks to take this man out. They finally got him trapped and dead to rights. People come out from the back and try and get into the cage. Other Nexus enemies, Ace Austin and Chris Bay out there trying to get in. They try and open the cage door, but Ethan Page has done some fuckery with the door, he's stolen the key or some shit. And he's smiling as they struggle to get in. And, a bunch of our baby faces, security, Bobby Roode comes out and all sorts, and nobody can break into the cage. They all try and start climbing the cage. Ethan Page starts knocking them all down. When Seth Rollins' music hits, crowd goes crazy. Out comes Seth. We got a house on fire. He storms down. He immediately starts climbing the cage. He gets to the top of the cage. He manages to fend off the onslaught of whichever Nexus member was trying to stop him. He gets on top of the cage. He dives off the top of the cage. He wipes out all the Nexus men. He grabs a steel chair. And, he starts wailing on Bronson Steiner with the steel chair. Bronson Steiner does eventually have to retreat. And Ethan Page has to open the key. He's panicking in the corner as Seth starts wailing on the Nexus guys with the chair. And he's like, fuck, open the door. And eventually they do get out and they all flee. And Seth, he stands tall with the chair in his hand. Cody starts to get to his feet. And Cody eventually does start stirring. He turns around, he sees Seth Rollins in the cage with him. And Seth, stares at Cody. And Cody gives Seth a smile. He offers out a handshake to Seth Rollins. And Seth accepts the handshake to a big pop to end the show. Seth Rollins back here tonight on Old School Raw. And it is confirmed, shortly after this, that next week, Seth Rollins, Bronson Steiner, next week on Raw in Chicago. AAV show. Yeah, fun little show. Most of the matches were done to advance storylines, but there was just a bunch of fun segment I wanted to do on this show. Some of them will never be followed up on again. Some of them will lead to short little random fun women's feuds, and others will pick back up on in a few months. But yes, what matters more is what you thought of the show. Do let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you on the other side for Heat. I guess Heat is also in the Manhattan Center as well. Just a quick episode of Heat this week. I'm actually recording this on a different day. This is actually being recorded on Christmas Eve, with the plan being to upload Raw on Christmas Day. So, yeah, I just wanted to get a quick Heat in to, finish up the episode. But yeah, our opening match, Liv Morgan and Thea Hale in tag team action against Kaya Satan and Zayna Zeal. Liv pins Kaya in 7:37 with the Oblivion. 57 for Thea, 70 for Liv, 39 for Zayda, 27 for Kaya. I had accepted Liv and Thea, I guess, as the quote-unquote tag team of this trio. But I guess if I put either of them in with Alexa and they have chemistry, then them. But Alexa is the sort of one that will be doing more in the months ahead. So, in my mind, I'd position her, even if this isn't even really an official group, but at this current moment in time, I should say that Liv and Thea are teaming. And then Kaya and Zayda, I gave them a win last week, so, that's their win for the next 6 months, so I can job them out again. But yes, I need to rename them from the Learning Tree, because Jericho's back now, and he's not doing the Learning Tree anymore, so they need a new name. Then get back to the interview. Alicia's with New Millennium, and he's talking about Bad Blood. It was confirmed tonight that the women's tag team championships will be on the line at Bad Blood. It'll be you defending against Bianca and Jakara Jackson, against Tiffany Stratton and Mariah May, and against Charlotte Flair and Ariana Grace. And not only that, but whoever wins that match at Bad Blood and walks out of Bad Blood with the women's tag team championships will go on to Worlds Collide to defend the championships in a four-way against, obviously, the team from NXT, which was Lash Legend and Rosie Riley, the team from NXT Japan, which was it Arisa Nakajima and Hayden Willis, and then a team from Stardom who I have not yet determined, because I don't know who Stardom's tag teams are in the game, because I don't control them. Rock says, well, that's 6 different tag teams. 7 if you count Shayna and Carmella. In, the span of a month? These people in this company are trying really hard to take these championships off 2 of their future women's champions. But because we're in this Nexus group and they don't like how we're going about things, they're stacking the deck against us. They're throwing teams from Raw, SmackDown, ECW, NXT, NXT Japan, AAA, any Stardom, anywhere else in the world you can think of. It's not gonna matter. Okay? Because SmackDown, we retained. Bad Blood, we're gonna retain. Worlds Collide, we're gonna retain. And forever and ever and onwards to reach 1 year and even beyond with the championships, Alicia. It doesn't matter who they throw at us, because we are gonna keep the championships. And Lash, She's somebody who we grew up with in NXT. We know Lash all too well. And sure, Lash may be big and strong, stronger than us physically. But it's that experience. And Lash, she's the sort of girl who she could do with some guidance. So, maybe after Worlds Collide, after Bad Blood, you can give us a call and we can sort you out. 51 rated match, Ivy Nile with a quick win over Callie Armstrong. You know, Ivy's got a match with Zoe on ECW, so I want to give her a nice win here to get her a little bit of momentum, because she's already had a lot of momentum for a while. Ivy's always sort of just been, like, the leftover hand who's doing nothing, who does jobs on TV. So, yeah, she's finally got a little bit something to do, so she gets a win over Callie Armstrong here. 62 for Ivy, 19 for Callie Armstrong. After the match, Zoe Stark does come out. She hits the Z360 on Ivy. She's like, bitch, see you tomorrow night, because, you know, how dare you walk out on me? How dare you agree with my message and not agree with me? 78. I don't think this is the main event, actually. I think I nearly put it as the main event, but the main event is Kelani Jordan against Zelina Vega. But yes. The Unholy Union defeat Dani Luna and Xia Brookside. Two more NXT UK alums. This is NXT UK Central right here. Alba Fire pinning Dani Luna, using the ropes for leverage. 58 for Xia, 60 for Luna. 89 for Alba Fire, and a 72 for Iona Webb. So yes, nice little win here. I want to test out Dani and Xia as a tag. I don't think they've ever teamed in TNA IRL, but they've always sort of vibed as a team. Like, modern version of Xia Brookside, that is, and Dani Luna. So, yeah, nice little showcase hit. And also, we then cut back to two more X. Well, I know Tegan wasn't ever in NXT UK, but she's Welsh, so she could have been. But more British women in the back, basically. Tegan and Piper watch on as Alicia approaches them, and she goes, ladies, over the past few weeks, you found yourselves, you know, at the mercy of the Unholy Union and Blair Davenport, and you remain outnumbered to this day. You know, I want to know if there's any update on you taking the fight to the Unholy Union and what may be next for you two. And Tegan goes, we're still searching, okay? We understand that we're outnumbered right now, and it's fine. We've been underdogs our entire career, basically, here in WWE, you know. But let it be known, when Piper and I are ready, we're going to bring the fight back to them. And we're going to bring along somebody else with us, so we just don't know who that is right now. But trust the Unholy Union, or anybody else on Raw in a little group that thinks they can hide and get the numbers advantage over us. We're here to get our tag team champions back, and that starts by taking out the Unholy Union. And then we move on to whoever's next. On a 65 main event, yeah, not as good as the tag match, sure. But I guess it's because I had to keep Zelina strong. Kelani Jordan does defeat Zelina Vega here. In 11:36. 53 for Kelani, 73 for Zelina. Yeah, the Fatal Influence feud with Solani and Jordan is basically over. But I also want to do the singles match so I can give Kelani a nice win, because I think her popularity is the lowest of the three, and, you know, it's just a nice little rub for her. You know, as much as a keep strong victory on a B show can be. But, yeah. 53 for Kelani, 73 for Zelina. That ends the show, which gets us a 67. 6-7. Haha. Well, that's what you thought of the show. Mainly of Raw. And I'll see you next time for ECW as they continue their build towards Bad Blood. See you then.